Why don't we start with LULU? This is a momentum stock. It's, you can call it an Amazon Junior in the sense that they have earnings. If they gap down, they have a tendency to fill and be very strong. Looks like that sort of scenario is already playing out, or already did play out. We'll get to that. Here's kind of the 2-year. Actually, let's go to the weekly. So it's a momentum stock that's definitely not broken, as opposed to this baby, which was a momentum stock that is kind of broken a little bit, although it's shown some signs recently of life. So going back to LULU, weekly uptrend, had this big base here in the mid-40s, and then supported 55 here for about a month. Tried to make a new high and failed in the high 70s, but the trend is working its way higher, and you can see on the weekly it's supporting at around $67 a share. It's dipped below there twice, but hasn't closed below there in the weekly, and again in the pre-market today, we'll zoom in on it, was well below there, but we're now well above. Does anyone know what time the conference call is on this one? I didn't see it on the scanner. 10 o'clock? Okay, so conference call is 10 o'clock. If you're going to trade this one on the open,
9 o'clock.
Oh, 9 o'clock. So it's going on, about to start right now. So it's being bought into the conference call, and you can see I've highlighted yesterday's range for you. This was the first potential area that it could bounce to 68.25 to 68.5. It's done that in the last couple of minutes while I've been talking, and this is a spot where it could possibly fail. If it does support if it consolidates above $68 a share, pretty good chance it's going to run up at least to $69.70, which would be yesterday's resistance area. Zooming in on it, it's already done 335,000 shares, which is a little bit more than 15% of its average daily volume, so extremely in play. Going back to, let's go to like a 2-minute, or actually 1 minute. So looking at it earlier this morning, we came in, it started trading around 7:30, was down around 65 bucks, got as high as 67, wasn't particularly liquid, you can see that. 8 o'clock, where typically we see more volume come in, it did try to hold a little bit higher, I guess around 66.5. So watching this on the open, if they do drop it out, and actually it looks like maybe it's going to 69.70, but still a little bit thin. But if they drop it out right on the open, this 67 to 66.5 area is where I would look to be fading it on the long side, or covering if you're short on a failure from up here at $68 a share. And it's still going higher, almost 69. So looking pretty good. Let me go to a 10-day. It's not working too well. Okay, so here, this gives us a little bit better view here. So coming into yesterday, it had gapped down below the prior 4-day support, which was around 71. And so I think if it's actually strong through this conference call, it takes out yesterday's range. This is an area where I certainly think people would be looking to sell it up here close to $71 a share. But just remember, it's already bounced now. It's already bounced about 4 points. I call it Amazon Junior for a reason. Amazon, when it gaps down, tends to fill and then can even go pretty positive. So we've already seen the fill, and it doesn't mean that it won't have some good 2 to 4 point pull-ins where there might be some short setups. But seller beware that this one can just keep on going, and if it sets up quite nicely, holding above yesterday's support, you want to look to trade it at least up to this $69.70, and then to $71 a share, and then we'll figure out what happens there. But we'll want to be pretty careful on the short side there. Notice the volume, although it's very good for pre-market, certainly not enough volume for us to make any complete judgments. You can see the huge volume coming to the earnings yesterday, and a lot of people got long it. Now they're starting to feel comfortable that it's back above $68 a share, and they might try to press their bets right up into this area up here. It keeps on going higher. The more I talk about it, the more likely it is to get to 71. All right, let's go to